ABC Wednesdays. Shifting Gears is back.
He has arisen.
Tim Allen and Kat Dennings return in television's #1 new comedy.
What?
With a star-studded premiere including Jenna Elfman, Nancy Travis, and...
Hey, buddy!
a big home improvement reunion.
Welcome.
Oh, boy.
That guy's a tool.
Shifting Gears. New Wednesdays, 8, 7 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville's a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with...
Dave and me, John. People, I'm sorry. I just want to start by saying
Starting with an apology?
Well, because people they just want these episodes, and just me and they love. Hey, we love Lee Dixon. We love Elliot. We love just name a celebrity that
They
we
love
have.
'em, but-
they love them,
But
they're like
we already have 2 A-listers in the room. Why bring a third in?
Why can't you guys just have a conversation? That's
Right.
really why we come here.
I know it.
And so this is
Sorry,
just to
guys.
satiate the masses, this conversation, because John and I are busy doing just so much stuff and building.
I will say,
planning.
you people need to know this. Dave Barnes is always... I mean, I just walked back here through the gardens that you have and the
You talking about my brand new zoysia grass in the backyard?
Well, let's not even get into
Let's
that.
don't
That'll
start-
be the whole hour.
You
Dave
knew.
just put some new grass in his yard. Can't stop thinking about it. And Dave's working on a new album already, and it's good.
Well,
I got the song stuck in my head already. It's good.
well, John, don't do that.
You just
Hey,
don't stop.
We're gonna speak. What a transition! Speaking of new albums,
This is not my first rodeo, Dave.
you even got me. You sleight-of-handed me. I do want to say, if you guys haven't, this is going to come out a little after this post, but John posted a video. Me and the kids watched it. That's what was so great. We were looking at something, and I don't know. I was showing Ben a video or something on Instagram, and then yours, and we just sat there, and the other two walked over, and we watched it, and all of us laughed.
The one where I'm opening
Opening
presents.
the gifts. It just.
Here's the thing. This is what I think of.
Oh my gosh!
This is what
it
I
made
think of
me
when
laugh.
I'm doing this. Because, of course, the video, if you haven't seen of course, everyone's seen it. It's gone viral by now.
Yeah.
But it's me. I got the piano books and the CDs, still waiting on the vinyl. But, I'm trying to think of ways to promote
it, yeah.
the album that'll be out on October 24th.
There it is.
And so I'm like, I have these things now. Why don't I wrap them all up? It was just my birthday last weekend. All unwrap all these gifts. Every gift will be these CDs and these piano books. But what I'm thinking of while I'm doing this, it's 11 o'clock on a Monday. What is Dad doing? Dad's gift wrapping
himself. His
himself
own records.
so that he can then point a camera at himself. It just makes me think of what was my dad doing when
Our
he turned
grandfathers
43?
were in Iwo Jima, storming, trying to just live.
Just try. And you know what? I'm doing the same thing.
Thank you for that.
I'm trying to just
I think what
live.
got me so... I mean, obviously, I don't know anyone that's better. I mean, I'm coming screaming in, but I mean this. I don't know anyone better at deadpan humor than John McLaughlin. Nobody touches you in that arena.
Mike McLaughlin's got me beat. I'll tell you
Okay,
that.
I don't know Mike that well. He won't let me know him that well. But what got me so good is that you never address that you keep opening the CDs.
Yeah.
Not once in the video do you say, "Oh, it's another one." Every time you open it, it's like a new gift,
Yeah.
and that ended me. It was just so.
That's
good.
key to the video. If you're gonna address it, I guess maybe you could lean in super hard.
Yeah.
To the another CD.
Oh, this is amazing. Yeah,
You
I knew
know,
what I
but-
wanted. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that got me. It got me just so fiercely in my giggles, and I think I just want to digress for a second. This was not planned to say. And listen, we love our jobs. I really can't think of a better job. I mean that. I think this is the best job in the world. I really
1,000%.
genuinely mean that.
1,000%.
one of the tricky parts when you're in your 40s, having done this for 25 years, like we've both done, is that now and y'all, if you've listened to an artist that is alive talk about their job, they will say like social media is such a big part of it. And what's so hard is trying to come up with ideas of things that engage people enough to stop scrolling and watch for that moment. Because really, I don't know that it's ever been harder to promote new music. Yeah. Because one, everybody's doing it, but two, and I mean, a lot of people don't know this. Anybody that spends any time on Instagram, because that's where John and I mean, we're not really TikTok people. No. But somebody told me that that Instagram like throttles your post to like 2 to 5%, which means if you have, let's say, which I don't, but let's say you have a round number of 100,000 people that follow you, that's like 3,000 people. Yeah. 4,000 people will naturally see your post and they're scrolling.
It's crazy. I mean, it used to be back in the day, you're trying to get more followers. Yeah. You're trying to get, okay, I've got 20,000. They're going to see my stuff. Now let's see if we can get an extra 200 people in the door. Yeah. Now it's like, all right, I've got 40,400 followers as of today. I can't reach, to your point. I can't reach now. Now I'm trying to reach 200 of them. Yeah. Why do I even have them?
It's so I think it's anytime people nail it like you did yesterday, I'm always like, God, that's just got to be the best feeling when like I nailed that. Now that's all I can do. So it's always a win. I feel like in this day and age when you have a post, you're like, that kind of feels like that did what I wanted to do.
I'm just trying to, Amy is always very encouraging with the beast of social media. Whenever there's something that I need to promote, I always feel heavy about it and it's complicated. And she's always like, babe, just post every day from now until the record comes out. Yeah. That's right. Just do something every day, Yeah. So, I appreciate your encouragement. And, that's like, that might as well have been 25 years ago that I did that post. That was yesterday. Yeah, now it's like, what are you going to do today? So I'm trying to do it without a nihilistic sort of heavy, complicated mindset. I'm trying to do it lightly.
Yeah, it's light. We're having fun. Yeah, it's just some guys having fun. I do think that is something that I feel very dinosaur-like in my view of social media. Because I think when you and I were coming up and Instagram was brand new, you didn't want to bother people. Like that was
a precious thing.
That was everybody agreed. Every artist knew it was like post only what's important. You don't want to be the guy that's beating people over the head. Yeah. And now it is diametrically opposed to that ideology. It is
angle.
Like they're probably not even going to see it. So just post as much as you can and post about the same thing as much as you can. And so for, I feel like for people like you and I've done it this long, you're like, oh yeah, I have to, like Amy said, just don't think about it. Put the camera up, talk about the record. I'm like, yeah, but you just don't want to. And then I talk to younger artists and they're like, oh no, you need probably 15 to 20 posts on something that matters. And I'm like, good gracious.
Yeah. Those 15 posts are one post.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. That's really well said.
I was just having coffee with Matt Wirtz before I came over here, and we were talking about
with
this
him yesterday.
What?
That's a triad.
We should all
power.
three have dinner tonight.
That's too
just
much.
To round it out.
That's too much.
You're right. That's too much. Maybe a light snack. But we were talking about this single that is coming out October 10th. I'm really leaning into
I want you to. What's it called? It's called
Not There Yet. And he was saying, I think he had heard this in an interview with another artist. This other artist was saying, like, the way that you should view it is by the time that song comes out, people want to already know it. They want to feel like when that song is available for them to stream on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever. What if I just listed every single streaming platform there?
Title.
They want to feel like I already know that song. Oh, I like that song.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
Which I've never really thought about it from that angle before. And that gives me a lot of motivation to post, leading up to it and having little snippets of the song or me playing the riff or whatever. Because to me, I think just for me, if somebody like Dave Barnes hasn't, well, that's a bad example, but if like Ben Folds has a new record coming out,
in years.
No, with you, I'm definitely going to listen to it, and with you, I probably have already heard it. So bad example, but with Ben Folds, who's I love his music. It's still, even if it's just one song, I'm like, so I'm going to take 4 minutes out of my day to roll the dice on this song. I already love all the rest of his stuff. If I'm going to take 4 minutes to listen to Ben Folds, let's go to whatever, Never Amen, or whatever.
Yeah.
So if I've already kind of heard tiny little snippets of it.
Yeah, you got a taste for it.
It's like when doctors, you have an allergy to pollen and they give you like just a little bit of pollen and over a little bit of time, and now you're not allergic to pollen anymore. It's kind of like that, you know?
You're not allergic to music anymore.
It's one of my best analogies, I think.
the minute that you said allergies, I was like, I can't wait to see how he unfolds.
What a great way to view. You're already allergic. You're already going to have a negative reaction
our profession
to this.
so badly in that one comment. No, so tell us about the record.
Dave, I truly mean this when I say it. I'm just so happy with this record.
That's such a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. And I don't feel it every time. I mean, I think every record that I've put out, I feel you have those couple songs that you're like, I love these.
Yeah,
and, you know, back in the day, the first 3 records I did with labels. And so it's like death by committee. You know, you're like, you've got your songs that you really fought for. The label has their songs that they love.
Yeah.
Rarely does the label and the artist love all the same 10 songs or whatever. That just never happens.
Right.
So in those days, it's expected. It's like, all right, we're going to compromise on this. Like, do I track 6 through 10? I wish weren't on the album. I wish they were different songs. Whatever.
Right.
But then, you know, the last 3-4 albums have been independent. But even still, it's like I've got a couple songs that I love. These are going to be the ones that I play live in 10 years.
Yeah.
The rest, you're like, well, I like them, or there's something about them that I like.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, you know, how it goes.
Yeah.
It has been for me. This record is the most, like, every song on this album I love.
That's such a good
It feels like this is like the album that is compiled of the 2 or 3 good ones from all that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's how this album feels to me. And Lucas Morton produced it, and he did
so good.
Awesome
he is
job.
So unbelievably good.
He really he did such a great job on this album, and everybody who played on it. I mean, they're just. I felt like I took my time on this record. I was supposed to put it out in 2023. And I mean, the file that I was working off of this whole time is called 2023 New Album.
Yeah.
So, and I just, in 2023, I was like, it's just not good enough. I had a couple, I think there were 2 or 3 songs at that point that made the record now. But, you know, it would have felt the same way. It would have felt like I've got 2 or 3 songs that are great, and then there are 6 or 7 that are good. And it just felt like the world doesn't need another album from me, really. So if I'm going to put another album out, like, I feel like I owe it to myself and to everyone else. Let's make it worthwhile. Like, why put out an album that's, like, pretty good? Nobody needs that. And my fans, it's just like, again, to keep going with Ben Folds or whatever, like, I don't need another album from Ben Folds, really. He's put out a breadth of work that is amazing, and I love it.
Yeah. And
I can listen to it whenever I want to. So if he's putting a new album out, I want it to be amazing. And if it takes 2 more years, take your time.
That's right. That's right.
You know, what's the rush? So, but it was hard for me to not just put an album out. I mean, there's kind of creatively you want to put something out, and also there's a financial aspect to it. Like, you want to put out an album and do a tour, and like that's what we do. So to take 2 more years, it felt like I mean, not to pat myself on the back here, but it felt like a hard decision that was like I did the mature thing that it would have been easier to just put a record out
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that I didn't, because it wouldn't have been this album.
Yeah.
So,
John.
oh yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, are you talking to me?
Yes.
I heard an H in there, and I'm just
I was
J-O-N.
trying to hit that in as hard as I could.
Okay.
John.
Yeah.
But it's
hey,
hard.
what's up, Dave?
Yeah, you've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like this actually works.
Of course.
Yeah. I did your voice pretty good there.
Thank you.
I did too, until I found out what, John?
Nutrafol.
Nutrafol isn't like,
not like the rest of them. Nope.
Nutrafol is physician formulated, clinically tested, and dermatologist recommended.
That is 100% right, Dave. And that's why I love Nutrafol. It supports hair growth from within, targeting root causes of hair thinning for visibly thicker, fuller hair. So you can show up as your best self every day. That's
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, which is about half of our family, John.
That's right. Here's the thing. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Contents certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for
We don't want
supplements.
silver or bronze,
Nope,
John.
take us to the gold.
At Dadville. Adding Nutrafol in your daily routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track.
See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Now, for a limited time, people, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, you better buckle
Nutrafol
up.
is offering our listeners $10 off their first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the code DADVILLE.
Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code DADVILLE. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code what, John?
DADVILLE.
Dadville is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Dave, October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year, BetterHelp is shining the spotlight on therapists, people who truly make the world a better place.
Therapists make an incredible difference. You know, John, I think therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries.
And Dave, I think you're right. Therapy could empower you to be the best version of yourself.
And John, I don't mean to interrupt, and it isn't just for people who have had trauma, is it?
That's right.
That's right. It can benefit everybody.
Everybody. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties, and easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost.
This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Visit betterhelp.com/dadville today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dadville.
I do, yeah. I mean, I think that's always our job, but I would say as we get older, it's maybe even more our job.
Yeah.
Is to have some judicious ability to kind of listen to songs and go like, I mean, I've got enough songs.
Yeah.
Is there something in each of these songs I'm selecting that justifies putting it out? Because there's plenty of my music out there. Mm-hmm. So it takes a little bit of us as artists to go like, I just want to make sure the batch is, when people hear it, they go, oh man, I'm glad he put these out. And not be like, oh, this is more cool vibes by Jon or Dave or whatever,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Which is really tricky because it feels good to release music and you like having new music for shows and something to talk about. And it's just, obviously that's what we do is we create and then we release.
Yeah.
But I think it's really great you had the discipline to kind of go, I don't think it's there yet. Because you could have just as easily done it.
Yeah.
You know?
And there were, there were songs that, I mean, not to get too in the weeds of all this, but you know how when you got some new songs and you're playing some new songs for people, and I played a new song for you a couple years ago that I was excited about it, and I really tried to be as objective and emotionless as possible. Like, I've written this song, I played it for Dave, and you were like, you didn't love it. And I was on the road with Matt Carney, and I remember I played him a bunch of songs, and of course, I'm like, I want him to love every single song, and he's like, oh, this one, love that one. I'm not connecting with that one, and I'm like, that particular one, I'm like, I'm so excited about that one, you know, but I didn't put, it's not on the album.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, of course, not just because Matt said that, but it's like there were a couple of those where it's like, okay, this song that I love so much is not connecting with people.
Yeah.
I have this song. I can play this song.
Right.
I can record it and put it out on the album if I want to, but I already created it.
Yeah.
So like I can still feel accomplished that I wrote the song.
Yeah.
I can, you know, play the demo in my writer's room by myself.
Yeah.
Why would I put it out and take up space on the album and take up time when it's clearly not connecting with people? That would have been a decision I could not have made years ago.
Well, you know what gets tricky with me with those kind of songs is sometimes I will have done something quarterly in a song that I'm so excited about.
Right.
I've never done before. I landed the jump. It's like I didn't think I could make that little connection. Or like there's 2 lines in that I'm like, that may be the 2 best lyrics I've ever written. Yeah. And I'm so obsessed with those that I'm not quite seeing the song as a whole. And I mean, I've had so many of those over the years where I go, like when I was doing records with Ed, I'd go play him a song and I'd be like, and he's like, same as Matt, like, yeah, it's cool. It's not. And you're like, well, now I got to throw away the 2 best lines I've ever written, that one chord change I never thought I would land, or, you know, that little melody in the bridge that's the cool. And, you know, you just, so it's hard because I think without people's perspective, I can fight too hard for things that are moments as opposed to songs. For me, I'm speaking.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's helpful when you have people go like, hey, I hear you, but I just don't think the whole thing is quite.
Yeah. And so often that thing that you're so excited about, it's not even noticed by half the people, especially if it's some kind of musical thing. Like the song that I'm referring to had the chorus was in like it wasn't a different meter, but it slowed down. The tempo slowed way down. And I was just like, live, this will be so fun.
That's what I mean.
And I do think it would be fun. Like it would be a great live moment. But like you're saying, like it's a moment. It's the song. It's based on sort of the data that I'm getting back from people. No one's walking away humming this song after the concert. Yeah. So, you know, I really tried to like trim those out. Yeah. Don't get distracted by
hard.
that.
It's such a bummer.
Yeah. But anyway, all that.
So the album comes out again. October 24th.
October
it's called
24th. Scenarios. Yeah. And you can look. You don't have to wait. You can pre-order it right
as
now.
You're listening, guys.
I can like hear all the listeners being like, look, no thanks, because I don't pre-order an album unless I can get a sweatshirt or a T-shirt or a piano book.
Surely, are you about to?
You can get all those things. JonMCL.com, JONMCL.com,
and you can
World Wide Web. You can get all those things.
Every single bit of it.
Every single bit. Look. Enough about my album. That's not even out yet, Dave. Let's talk about albums that are out. Okay?
Great.
Let's talk about albums that are before they get away from us.
Hey.
Let's talk about songs that got away.
They did. Let's talk about this.
I was down in Florida last week, actually at this time, I think, and I went on a little run, and I was miserable because it was so humid and so hot.
But you love a hot run, John.
I know, but a Florida humid
Yeah, that's
run,
a different level, yeah.
Man, it was different. And the only thing that buoyed me was I listened to your new album front to back.
Oh, wow.
And I want to hear your thoughts on it, but I just want to say, I said this to you the other day, the production on it is I think it's so cool because it's like each song feels like an album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like each song is a different vibe. I wonder if you feel this way production wise, if you felt like I can do whatever I want.
Oh yeah.
This song could be, have kind of more of a hip hop groove.
Yeah.
And I don't need to worry about what's the through line here?
That's right. That's exactly right.
It made it really interesting and fun to listen to. And there's so many great songs. I told you this the other day, like, I don't know why that song, Some People's Kids, why didn't anyone?
I want somebody record it so bad.
Well, it's such a great song.
Yeah.
Some people's kids.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, you nailed it. That really was what was so fun. Is not So again, if you follow me, you know this. And we've talked about it a little bit on the pod, but it's an album full of songs that I wrote for other people that they didn't record. So I was like, well, I want people to hear them, so I recorded them.
Yeah.
And so it's about half demos from the day of writing. That like we're in the room. Whoever was the producer in the room at the moment, worked it up. I either sang on it or somebody else in the room sang on it, and they just sort of lived in my Dropbox for forever. And I would listen to them with the kid. It was like some people's kids literally was my kid. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 songs on that album that my kids were like, "You have to release that song."
Yeah.
That was the first one that they were like, "Dad, this song is so good. We love this song. Why has nobody recorded it?" And so it was as simple as just like, Andrew Roberts did that, wrote that with he and Parker Welling. And Andrew, I mean, that what you hear is, I didn't change anything about that song. I just asked him to get the files so that we could mix it. And then I had Sean Moffitt mix it, and that was it. So about half of the record is, to your point, these songs you just did that day, you didn't think any more about it. There's no thought to like, would I ever do a soundscape like this on a record or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is what we thought it'd sound like. And then the other half, songs like Symphony that I wrote with Kelsey Ballerini and Forrest, it's like that. All it was her singing it, and it's her singing it. So it's a female song. It's written. So I had to tweak a couple of lines, and then I just worked on that one myself. So that's fun because it's like, well, this could go anywhere. Like if I was going to do it, how would I do it? And so it's been fun to put them out because there's so many songs I never would have probably recorded under my own artist thing, except for having an asterisk like this record where you can go, hey, the reason it sounds like this is because these were never meant to be for me. And then it's fun because then you can sort of let your freak flag fly of like, oh yeah, that's going to sound like you said, really soulful and funky, and this one's going to be really heartfelt, and this one's just like an acoustic and a couple other things, and then that one sounds like whatever. And so it's been fun, and I've had a lot of friends that have, that's such a win, is when people were like, man, I just never heard you do something like that, and it's great, and we love it. Or, why are you still doing music? So, but yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago. Cheap Camaro, the one bummer, and this has been, I've just had to like move on. So Cheap Camaro, which is the last single that came out when the whole record came out.
Yeah.
We did a song a month.
Yeah.
I wrote with Andy Skibb and Chris Allen, friend of the pod. And Andy's just such a monstrous writer and producer. He's one of my favorite producers in Nashville. And we wrote that song, Andy and Chris and I have just had kind of a standing write once a month where we just, and it's so fun because there's no thought to why we're doing whatever song we're doing. There's not like, hey, is so-and-so wanting to record this? Who's needing songs right now? We just get in and have fun musically. And that was one that like Chris sang, such a monstrous singer. And so, and again, the kids loved it. I loved it. And I needed like one more song. And I was like, oh man, what if I just did Cheap Camaro? So I had Andy send me the track. I sang on top of it. And I was like, this actually sounds pretty good. But it's such a bummer. And it was such a bummer the way it ended this way. There was a total slip up with our distribution company online. And so when we were entering the songs to get the album ready, it thought Cheap Camaro was supposed to be singled. So like a month ago, it came out for like 10 hours. And so I had all these people were like, dude, love the new song. I was like, what? And I went and I was like, oh no. So we pulled it off. But the way that TuneCore works is it once it's been, and I should say not TuneCore, the DSP, so Spotify and Apple Music, everything, Tidal, and then also
Deezer,
Byte, Waver, Crush, Bender. But like once it sees that, it has a way it marks songs and gives it a number for the algorithm, just to put in the system. You can't re-release it as a single anymore. And so it stunk because the day of the album came out, Cheap Camaro, which is one of the songs I was probably the most excited about, never got on Discovery playlist or any of the Apple stuff because it had already been in the system.
Right.
And so it's kind of it sort of felt like, a little bit of a sad tuba on the day of the release because it was like that album, that song, which why we kept it as the last song, to kind of announce the album was out, didn't get its sort of day in the sun. Which is a bummer, but it is what it is. We tried everything we could. We even changed, like we thought you could kind of change, so we had it shortened. So when it got re-entered, maybe it wouldn't get flagged, but it did, and it sort of now is just on the album and not a single. But I'm really proud of it. I'm glad it came out. It was and I think I'll probably do it again someday. I think.
Well, you probably have. I mean, you've written so many songs. You could probably do an album every year. of
Yeah.
this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'd be good, but it'd be albums. The thing I think I want to do next in a couple of years is the songs that got away, but my artist songs.
Oh yeah,
Because I've been sort of spelunking that cave as of late, and there's more there that I like than I thought, and so I think I'll do it again. But it's just a fun. I really think every artist should do that. I really do.
Yeah.
I think we all have songs that you just you take into Fields or something, and 10 years ago and go. And he's like, we like these. They just don't, I don't know. They don't fit the rest of the record. And you're like, but they're great songs.
Yeah.
And to have sort of this way to sort of release them under this banner where you don't have to explain them, but just go like, here they are.
Yeah.
And, there's songs that fans would remember because you played them live. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's that one that I love this song. And I always wonder why you never released it. So I think we all should do those. It's a really fun sort of get out of jail free kind of project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be interesting to go back. Like now I'm thinking of some songs that I used to play every show for a little while there that I never recorded. There were a couple of those.
Yeah.
But I would play them live. Anyway, that's an interesting thing. I got to go back and write.
And I think it would be fun is like asking like listeners, just to go like, hey, when I say this, are there songs that you think of? And I bet, we would all be surprised by the ones that they bring up. You're like, I played that twice, or, like it was whatever. But it was fun. It's been fun to have it out. It's fun to kind of have it, be out there as something that was just kind of a fun little thing, and for it to serve the purpose it did. So it's, there it is.
Well,
and I've played a couple live, which has been fun. Like
which ones have you played?
I played Symphony. I was in Houston a couple weeks ago. Played Symphony. I'm trying to think. There's one other one I think I did. But it's fun because it's like, oh, these actually kind of work in this context.
I feel like with some people's kids, I don't know if you would ever do this, but like if you had some kind of loop station,
you could do that
or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that could go well.
Yeah.
I've never done the loop station.
Oh, me neither.
Well,
it terrifies me.
I did. I did it one time. We talked about it on the pod. Remember when we had Show Baraka on?
Oh yes.
And I did an After Dark. I feel like it was Georgia Tech.
Was he was there too, right?
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like it makes no sense why the show was laid out this way, but like Show played first.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
And it was a party.
Yeah,
it was like in the arena. It was a party. And then they stopped, and then me and Bobby Lee Stamper, and I went out, and we come out with my little keyboard and
white guys and a keyboard and an acoustic guitar,
disaster, guys. And so we were in the green room, and like the bass is thumping, and we're like, we have to come up with a loop on like our iPhone or something like that. So we literally we were on Bobby's phone, like on GarageBand, trying to come up with. We were like, what song could a beat go with? It was terrible.
What song did you do?
I don't remember.
There are a few. I know we talked about this with Show, but as white guys with guitars and pianos, and After Dark was where I got caught a couple times. I think even maybe early Lecrae, I did something with him, like early days Lecrae. But I know, like, I can't believe it was. I remember if it was Andy Mineo. It was like kind of like cadre, like Lecrae's, Show, all those guys who were doing that stuff early days. And I remember like. Same. I had to close a show, and it was like, there's not many worse things in our job than when you're like, I came as an acoustic duo in either a band open or even worse, a hip hop artist, and the crowd is live. The subs are
you're
pumping,
just like,
and you're
I feel like I'm the principal coming in and like
Nothing
ruining the party.
fancy about the way I
look up here, guys. Please look up here,
guys. No, you can't hear the song when you're walking out.
You can't hear the song when you're walking out. Yeah, it's funny. Like, and it, I don't know that it matters who it is. Like, even if you put Mayer up there after, and it's him and a guitar, he could play, and you're still going to be like, yeah, it just doesn't sound wise. It's not
Yeah,
doing
it's
me
tough to like. It's like that. Look, the cheese board is great.
Yeah.
But if you start with like birthday cake,
Yeah.
and then you go to the cheese board, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's
No, actually,
my best
no, that
analogy.
plays for me. It's like allergies when you've had a little at a time.
Okay, when pollen enters the nasal cavities, it's like a new single
Oh my
that
god!
you've just tried to drop.
Yeah.
Anyway. Dave, you know, there was a time, I don't need to remind you, when the origins of Dadville were just a dream.
We were so young.
I know, but then that dream turned into a podcast. It's the one you're listening to right now. Starting a business.
A business, John.
Business.
Starting a business like this is a dream for many of us. I mean, all of us, if we're being honest. Who doesn't want to start a podcast?
100%,
But
yeah.
too many of us let it remain just a dream. Don't
sad.
hold yourself back thinking, what if I don't have the skills?
Stop it.
What if I can't do it alone?
Okay.
What if I'm not as good as Jon and Dave? Turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify right by your side.
That's right. Shopify. You knew it. We know it. Everyone knows it. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Doesn't that blow your mind? Well, it shouldn't, because they've been doing it forever.
Well done.
Listen,
I bet there.
they'll help you design a website with beautiful, ready-to-go templates. Templates?
Yeah.
Or templates. They're working on something
It's the
new
.com.
called
They're buying a
templates.
new .com.
To match your brand style.
Get help with everyday tasks like enhancing product images, writing project descriptions, and generating discount codes with Shopify's AI tools created for commerce.
Promote your brand with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And Shopify's always around to share their advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support.
That's right. Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/dadville.
Go to shopify.com/dadville.
That's shopify.com/dadville. Okay, so I wanted to pick your brain on this before we release everyone, because I'm curious about people's takes on this too. I had a really interesting conversation with a couple other dads about youth sports. So we had that wonderful podcast with the guys talking about
Pure Athlete.
with Pure Athlete, talking about all things kind of youth sports. And this is all, if people have listened at all, they know this is kind of a hot topic with me. But I think I'd love to hear, because the girls are playing now. Your girls are all up in some soccer and they're just rocking the Casbah. I'm just curious your take, and I just sort of want to put this out for people to respond to when they hear this episode, to send us some DMs and emails or whatever, because I really do want to hear how people think about this. But I think the thing that is tricky, amongst other things, with like club or recreational, but in this instance club, is these things are businesses. And so I think like what gets tricky to me about when you're paying whatever it is, $1,000 for your kid to play a club sport, I think a couple things that you're paying for are a certain level of play. So if you have a child that is like good at something, you're kind of going, hey, recreational is great, but they actually want to be challenged. They want to have like playing with other people who are dedicated to kind of getting better, to competing at a certain level.
Yeah.
Whereas recreational, which we've had kids do that with our kids do that with different sports, like that's more like, they want to have a good time, but this is not something we want to practice more than like a week.
One of the
once
moms
a week.
or dads
runs the
coach.
coach. That's exactly right. So it's not like a pro or whatever, like a credentialed coach. It's just, a parent who might have played at some point or just really loves the sport. I think what's tricky about the club thing is like you're paying for a certain kind of experience, but then, there are times where you're on a team where it's not giving you what you're paying for. And either it's just like, the coaching isn't great. The kids on the team probably shouldn't have made the team because they're not at the level that should be club. You're getting shellacked every weekend.
Yeah.
And you're driving to get shellacked. So this is like an hour, to wherever in
or
Middle
sometimes
Tennessee.
it's the weekend.
That's
You
right.
got hotels.
Yes, that's right. You've gone
Yeah.
to Birmingham, Memphis,
Yeah.
like for us, Birmingham, Memphis, Knoxville, or whatever, Cookville, or
London,
London.
Tokyo.
Yeah, so if you're really
Yeah.
aggressive, London, Kentucky, and so I think with me, like I've just felt so much more sane because I've talked to a couple of my friends. Like this is not a thought I had natively. I had friends tell me this who are older, who have older kids. They're like, this is the thing about club sports though, is it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
You've paid them to give you a product. And you have a right as a parent, if they're not giving you that product at a certain point, to not do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I
course.
think it's just an interesting thing because I think there is something also in the culture of America where it's like when you've said yes, you know, you let your yes be yes and your no be no. So like when they've committed to be on a team, and it's every movie you've ever seen or every like motivational talk or something your parents told you growing up is like, hey, we said yes to this, we're going to say yes to it. But I think it's interesting to have a dialogue around, well, hold on now. You know, like they're not if this was a restaurant, it'd be closed. Like this
Yeah.
team would be closed. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a business just like a restaurant is a business or a car wash or whatever. If it's not doing its job, it's not going to keep going because it's not delivering what you're paying for it to give you,
Yeah.
you know? And so I just think like I had a friend of mine, I was kind of talking about this a couple of years ago, and he was like, parents forget that like, and that's from like, hey, we're not going to be on the team anymore. Like this, it's not worth us giving all of this time and energy to something that is not giving us anything back.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the right to say that because I paid for it, and we either like want a prorated rate or we're just not going to, we're okay to forego the thing. We just don't, it's literally not worth what we're giving. Our
Yeah.
child isn't developing. He's not getting along with teammates. She's not, you know, we're getting just, again, crushed every weekend, and it's just not worth it. And I think it's funny because you just so rarely hear that kind of thing. And my friend, when he said this, I remember thinking like, yeah, I've never thought about it. He's like, well, so one, it's that, but it's two also with club sports is like when they come to you and go, hey, we want to go play this tournament, you know, as an exhibition in Memphis, like as parents, you can go, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And you can, and he's like, you know, and he's got kids that are older. He was like, there were numerous times where the parents would call each other and be like, yeah, we don't, hey, Bob, we love you and you're great. We just don't want to do that. That's not
Yeah.
worth our time because you really do. You're the customer. And you get to,
I would have been like you. I wouldn't have even thought. I mean,
Yeah.
like we signed up for this.
That's right.
If we got to go to Birmingham, we were supposed to go to Birmingham last weekend.
Oh, wow.
My birthday weekend. Which I actually I don't mind.
yeah, no, they
They
yeah,
can
I'm
be
not
really
poo-pooing
fun.
on that at all.
They can
Yeah,
be really fun.
I've done that numerous
But you know,
times.
it's not what I would have
Yeah.
envisioned.
Right.
You know, and we didn't do it.
Wow.
Like there was kind of I think this is what happens. There was like a consensus amongst the parents, but led by, you know, everyone has that one parent that's kind of like the liaison a little bit.
Right.
And
Right.
ours was like, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it.
Yeah.
But that would not have been me. I would have
Yeah,
been like
right.
complaining as
Right.
I'm driving down to
Right.
Birmingham.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked to another good friend. This was, 3 months ago. He's got a kid that's on a club soccer team, and the coach came to them and came to the parents. They did a Zoom or something. He was like, hey, I think we're going to submit the team to play at this level, and we want to do that would require this kind of travel and whatever. And the Zoom ended. My buddy got on a text thread with the other parents, and it was unanimous. They were
Yeah.
like, we do not want to play at that level. It's too high, and we don't want to travel to those places. So he was elected and he called, you know, the coach and said, hey, like, we're not going to do that. And the coach was like, no. And he's like, no, you're misunderstanding me. We're not going to do that. So if you
Yeah.
want us to be a team, we want to play at this level in these tournaments. And the coach said, I disagree, but I will do that because,
Yeah.
and that's what they're doing, and they're having a good season.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's an interesting dynamic. I've seen this a little bit here of late with some friends, and it just gives me a lot more like ease knowing, you know, I think again, as we talked to Pure Athlete about, like there's more of a dialogue around these things than we think. And I think
Right. There's some leeway.
There's some leeway. And again, it's a business. And I think, but it really crashes up against that ideology of like when we say yes to a team, you're on a team, whatever. And look, I agree with that. I really do. And I think it would need to be a pretty substantial circumstance for you to ever, you know, go like, hey, I think we're done with this team for the season, or, you know, we're not traveling that tournament. I mean, that's different because, you know, you have other things going on, you
Right.
know, and whatever. But I just think it's an interesting thing, and America because we do have such a you never say quit, you never give up on your teammates, whatever. But I also think there's a point where it's like it's okay to go, hey, like this just isn't working for us this season.
Yeah,
it's
interesting to think about like the comparison to restaurants. Like a restaurant, that's a great comparison. Like if the restaurant's not good, it will go out of business.
That's right.
I mean, there probably maybe some exceptions there that you can make if it's like a huge national chain or something like that. But there are so many other businesses that don't operate that way.
Yeah.
The club sport thing would be one of them because or like an airline or something like that. An airline, there's some airlines out there that they're terrible, but it's like this price.
Yeah.
If we're the cheapest ticket to Dallas, you're going to buy this ticket.
That's right. That's right. Well, and you know what? To exactly that example, I remember a couple years ago with one of our three, they went and made a team, a club team. Again, and this is club. I mean, that's a big deal. Like you're paying for it because you want a certain experience. You want a certain level of coaching. You want kids on the team to be at a certain level. And I remember with one of ours, I watched the first practice and I was like, those three kids have never played soccer. I know it. I know. I watch a ton of soccer. I love the game. Those three kids, God bless them, they never played. Now, they're wonderful kids and that's awesome they're playing. But I'm like, this is not – and it said to me, do you know what that means? Is that not enough kids tried out for this team to make the numbers they need, and so they're letting these kids play. And so I think –
it depends on how you look at it.
That's right.
Like you're saying, like it's great. We want all the kids to play.
Absolutely.
But this is
you're paying.
That smells to me like somebody at some point, and maybe this is a negative way to look at it. But I'm like, like you're saying, this is a business.
Yeah.
And just like the NFL would all the owners would love to have a 19 game season.
Yeah.
This is like that type of thing where it's like, well, if we add 2 more teams, look what happens to the spreadsheet.
That's exactly right.
So let's add those 2 more teams. I think we can make it, Well,
and I think again, and it's not, I'm not trying to poo-poo on the whole experience because we've had some really great experiences with our kids with club teams. But at the same time, it is a business where you just nailed it. Like that is happening in Nashville currently. Yeah. There are new clubs popping up in every county in Nashville, greater Nashville, every year.
Yeah.
And so kids are moving around like crazy because coaches in one club go to start another club. And that's one, everybody can do whatever they want. Yeah. And sometimes that proves to be really good because whatever. But I think what happens is then those clubs where all those kids left or the coaches left, they have to get new players. And, as much as Nashville's growing, there's not that much of a population of kids those ages playing soccer. And so what happens is
at that level,
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so then they take on those 5 kids where I'm sure they're sitting in the room going, look, I don't know if he's ever played, but we need people. And so then obviously the quality just goes down. And so then you have to, as a parent, sort of go like, well, gosh, what do we do with like, this isn't really what we paid. I mean, if that's all you say, this is just not what we paid for. And I think, again, if it was a restaurant, like that thing goes out of business.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't know. I just found myself thinking about that lately after talking to a couple of other dads about that, just kind of the dilemma of sort of club sports and just going, I think it's okay as a parent. And that's really why I wanted to bring it up. Is anybody listening that's in that dilemma? I think just to not forget you're paying for a product. You absolutely have the right to have expectations. And I think if those expectations aren't being met, and especially if they're putting a strain on your family or your kid is having some terrible experience that and I would say even more that's going to affect how they feel about that sport, I think you have a right to go like, hey, look, we're not going to do it for the rest of the season.
What makes it a little more complicated is the scenario where it's not quite as cut and dry. Like the product maybe is not great, like you're describing, but the kid's having a great time.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? That's where it's a little tricky.
Well, and you know what? We've had one of those. We've had one of those with our boys where they were on a team, and I'm so glad you brought that up because here's the thing: there's redemptive. If you can find like one redemptive thing, it's usually worth it. You know. And so for one of our boys, he was on a team, and the team wasn't great, but he loved the kids.
Yeah.
And they had, they won probably 30% of the time, 40% of the time, but he just really liked it. And for me, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love losing. He
Right.
didn't love losing. But at the same time, it was like, no, it's ticking a box that matters to us. And so again, I think it takes a lot for you to get to a point where you're like, this is kind of a non-redemptive experience.
Yeah.
But I think if you do get to that point, you have a right to say, yeah, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
there, you always, though, at some point have to square up to what is the best thing for your kid. Like in terms of, you've got the kids who like clearly are never going to, this is not going to be their future. This is going to be a social thing at most.
Right.
That's easy.
Right.
Then you've got the kids who are like, we need to get them down to NSC.
like today.
Yeah. Or Arsenal. We need to fly across the pond. Arsenal needs to take a look at this kid. That also is easy. That's a little more cut and dry.
Yeah.
The middle ground where you're like, this kid's got definitely some potential.
Yeah.
What's the move here?
Yeah.
Like, do we kind of push? Anytime I hear of, somebody, some actor or some athlete or whatever, where they're talking about their upbringing, and they're like, so we packed up and we moved, because there was this coach down, and that's probably always those other categories of kids that were just clearly like the stars or whatever. But there's always a part of you in the back of your mind that's like, should that be us? Should we be making a move here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's tricky.
Well, you know what I think is tricky too? It's so funny that you said that. Annie and I had a conversation about this last week. Like, I think one of the trickiest things about parenting, and Annie and I kind of sit on different sides of this, which I love. I'm so thankful for that, because I love checks and balances in a marriage, is more checks.
Right. Yeah. Balances are
it's tricky. And scales, and then you have like,
you don't like,
you went a little hard on Thanksgiving, and that's okay.
Sure.
You can walk it off. Not at 47.
As long as you can stay balanced.
Touche. But like, she and I were talking about this. Like, we have very different views on this, but thankfully we hold a lot of space for each other, and I think we'd land in a good place in the middle. But this idea that like, how do you, when you have a kid, and it can be like with your girls with musicals, it can be sports, whatever, something they have a penchant for, they have a leaning toward. How do you navigate how much you push them in that thing, and how much you let them naturally move toward it?
Totally.
Because I tend to be, and I think to potential detriment, no, let's follow their lead. Yeah. Like, there's nothing that sort of I get more cringy about than like pushing a kid in a way that maybe they don't want to go, or they're just not showing a lenient toward. Now, where Annie would very articulately and wisely say, this kid is also 11 years old.
Yeah.
He or she doesn't, why would they know what they really want or need with some affinity they have for something? We may need to push them. And I think she's right. At the same time, my argument is like, look, I would just be really nervous that we would force them into something either halfway through the season they don't want to do anymore, or they don't want to do anymore because we push too hard. Yeah. And so again, I think that's a really great checks and balances. But I do think as a parent, it's such a tricky thing trying to have that crazy amount of wherewithal where you have a kid like your girls who are great at musicals, they love soccer, whatever it is, and you're going, okay, do we like get them a private singing instructor for the, or like, you were talking about our friend who coaches, tryouts, that helps them understand how to try out better. Like, do you kind of bring her in, or are the girls can be like, whoa, this got really intense really fast.
I know.
I really think that is one of the hardest things about parenting with kind of anything your kid is like performing, or, I'll call sports performative for now, but anything where they're doing something like that, where it's like they could get better, they could fine tune whatever. That is tricky. And then laying over your experience about the whole thing makes it infinitely harder. Yeah.
And I mean, my experience both with sports and with music is I grew up playing piano as long as I can remember, and swimming almost as long as I can remember. And both of which I wanted to quit all the time.
See, that's a great example.
I mean, swimming, is the worst
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
There is hardly any redemptive qualities to it.
Also, you could die at any moment. Doing it.
It's the worst. And no one, it's like in general, at my high school, I'll just say, no one cared about the swimming.
Yeah.
No one came to the swim meets.
Yeah.
Unless it's, if there's some girl in the stands, it's someone's girlfriend. And she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
she's been trying to break up with that guy for forever.
Yes. And he can't read the note because it's soaking wet.
She throws it at him
anyway.
during this meet.
So there's so much, like 99%, and with swimming, and it's definitely was true with piano, if in terms of like classical piano, 99.999% of it is unseen grind.
Yeah, that's
unseen grind.
Yeah.
And the grind is not celebrated.
Yeah.
Like the performance that happens at the end of the year recital, or if you make it to state, that is 0.1% of the experience.
Yeah.
So for me, I lean. I don't know if my decisions maybe lean more toward Annie, but I definitely feel how Annie feels. Just in that, I kind of have it ingrained in me that, like, if you're gonna be good, if you want to do it,
yes,
what comes with it is you're looking at 0.1%. You probably want to do this thing.
That's right.
Because of the thing you saw. That thing you saw is 0.0001% of the experience.
Yep.
So you got to make friends with the fact that, hey, if you want to play this song,
that's really well said.
You got to just sit there and play it painstakingly over and over and over. And with my experience, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. My parents somehow kept me in the mix. And what I take away from, the swimming, it's like, well, I was never going to be a professional swimmer. I was not going to even probably swim in college. But what I take away from it is just the acceptance of a daily grind.
Yeah, that's
I don't
really
want
good.
to. Getting up every day and doing something that you actively don't want to do.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know what?
it.
To compliment you, I mean, I think of all of my friends, you're in like that top tier of my friends who have discipline, and you have disciplines that you do every day, and there's no doubt that those things inform your ability to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like
my childhood.
Yes, and just kind of like you said so eloquently, like this is the shadow part of the great thing that I get from doing it. It's just putting in the work. And I do wonder, it'd be interesting to ask your mom and dad, like, if they saw some ability, especially with piano, if they saw something early enough on, they're like, we're just going to hedge our bets because he's got an ability to do this that, yes, he's probably not going to love this now, but I just have this feeling he'll be glad that we made him do this because there is such a ability for this that we're just going to lean in and be like, I know, bud, but just let's get in the car. We got to drive down there to lessons, and you're like, ugh. But there's enough of something there going, but goodness gracious, like, look at him play. I mean, how would you not, stewarding something in your kid as a parent where you're like, but look at how well they do that. Like they have an ability that most kids don't have. And so stewarding it as a parent would be that we're just going to kind of lean in on this. And goodness knows it paid off.
I mean, there's no other
example.
There are no other skills. So thanks, Mom and Dad.
But when you get in a pool, you can see it. I've seen you in a pool, and it's really profound.
Yeah. And thankfully, that's been income generating for my family and I.
But I think that's the part where Annie, I'm so glad she has that perspective. But she was the same with sports. She grew up incredibly disciplined about her sports, and obviously she was really good at it. So that encourages that. You know what I mean? But she is absolutely like you. She's like, look, when you decide to do something, you put in the shift. Like that is the job.
That's the job. That's most of the job.
That's most of the job.
It's interesting. I guess it makes sense that you would fall where you would fall in comparison with Annie and all that, because, to oversimplify it, you that was not your experience growing up.
Right.
Like you came into music late. I mean, now I would say, and I've said this on here before, you have a high level of work ethic in terms of getting back here to your studio again through the gardens and the guard and
just the gorgeous,
all that kind of, and the lake that you gotta, but you've got the chopper that takes you. And just like working, like you have a high level of work ethic in your adult life. So it's interesting because it wasn't like your upbringing was this grind. The grind happened after you already started doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
mine's kind of a cheat code too because I enjoy it so much. I think it'd be different because every now and then that always means a lot. I mean, it's funny sitting with Wirtz yesterday for lunch. He brought that up, and he's always so kind to talk about that when we talk about writing and stuff. He's like, man, I just think he's like, I'm always so inspired by how much you write. But what I always want to say is like, but you don't understand how much I enjoy it. I mean, it gives me so much life. So I think where I struggle is with things that are grind.
You're not experiencing it the same.
Yes, that's right.
You're doing something you don't want to do.
No, I'm not sitting down like having to learn guitar parts that I'm like, I know this is good for me. It gets my fingers and I learn the fretboard better. Like I don't have a great amount of resolution for those kind of things where Annie is like, and I think like you, she's prodigiously good at that. It's one of the things that I value so much in our relationship, and just knowing her and her being, in our family, is that she can really sit with our kids and be like, look, you just got to put your head down. This is what we do. Where I can be a little more like, well, are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
And I think both are valuable. I do. But I think where she has value is, being able, I think as we walk through that with our kids, is kind of going, do they have are we seeing ability that's worth us then saying, hey, this is going to be tough, but it's worth doing. And I think both are really valuable. But you're right. I mean, I didn't, sports. I played recreationally growing up. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the communal part of it so much more than I did the actual athletic piece. Though and I was decent enough that I would make the team and whatever. But it was just, to me, it was like that's where my homies were, and I just wanted to hang out in the dugout or whatever. But which is weird because most football games didn't have a dugout, but I was there anyway, just waiting, always waiting.
Just far enough away.
Yeah, but you make a great point, and I think I do think all that to say it is an interesting thing navigating with kids, when to push, when to kind of go, this is worth us doing the extra work, and then also going, and I think it's what Annie and I have. I mean, this is sort of how we couch the conversation at toward the end of it. We were talking about this with our kids. Was we each have these experiences that so obviously color how we think about it. And where mine, I wasn't a kind of kid where it was like we had to get out in the backyard and let's get some, like some throws in, or like with my brother, who's a phenomenal athlete. I mean, he's a scratch golfer. Like Brad put in the hard yards, he was, but he also loved it, but like you, it was, like he didn't want to go to golf he grew up playing baseball too. Like, but he just knew this is what you had to do, but that was not my experience. And so I have such a different way of viewing it. And also what's tricky with me is that kind of like it all works out.
I know.
So it's hard.
Are you the example that should be avoided?
When I talk to Annie, I feel like that is always the cloud that hangs over our conversation. She can point to it any moment. And be like, we're not going to use you as the example
archetype.
The archetype. It's waste of time. But
I mean, I think in general, I guess like you want your kids to have an appetite. That's not the right word.
No, I like that.
An ability that like, hey, a lot of life is going to be doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. That's a key element of life. If you're going to move through the world avoiding that, I think it's going to be tough. Yeah. For you and the people around you, probably. So, but I don't know. You could avoid pain, and it could all work out.
What a way to end it.